the longest two ever. All right, three. We're live.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Plenty of Feet podcast. Don't forget to touch that like button down there so you can keep up with myself and all of the models on the podcast and all the Goodz family.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Drop that intro, producer, aka my. I just want to know who just got up and started twerking.
Who what?
Did it? Who
got
got
twerk
up?
on?
Who started
I thought
twerking?
about it. That was a long intro. I was like, oh, we're going. We're still going. All right.
You know what? The intros are always super long, but for a reason, for a good reason. I have to like woosah myself before each podcast. Like,
Get in the
yeah,
zone.
I gotta pull it out somehow, somewhere. I'm like, what am I gonna talk about today? What is the topic on the discussion? I know I should have wrote it down beforehand. Oh shit! Like all those start coming to my mind, but then I start recording, and somehow, some way, me and the guest, we just end up having a great time.
That's always the game. We always have a good time when we chat. What is this, number 3?
This is number 3. Yeah, the last one was when it was all of us in.
All the ladies.
All the ladies, holler if you hear me. That was a fun episode.
That was a fun episode. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
There was
always fun
a little bit of wine, a little bit of wine involved.
That always definitely helps the show go a lot smoother, I think.
It's
it's midday today, so I can't be on the wine train.
Yeah, well, midday, we got stuff to do, right? It's like we can't get on the wine train yet.
Yeah, it's not wine o'clock. I gotta wait a couple more hours. Gotta get those responsibilities out of the way.
Isn't that something, man? Like as adults, we just have responsibilities. Like, what is this madness? Like, it would be cool to be a dog. Dogs do nothing but exist.
True. Even be a kid again. It's funny because kids are so ready to grow up and like be adults, and it's like, no, dog, enjoy it. You don't understand. Although, I wouldn't want to go back to being younger. I like getting older, even though, the responsibilities, the bills, all the things that come with it, not so fun in some ways, but I like all the growth and all the stuff that comes with being an adult and figuring out life a little more.
Yeah, it is fun and enjoyable to try to figure out life. At the end of the day, that's probably what we're really here on earth for, is to try to figure out our true calling, or figure out like what's the meaning, rather, and like how do we navigate through this crazy life. But it's funny because when we are kids, we all just can't wait to grow up and be adults, and we want to rush it. We want to rush to get there. When we're 16, we're acting like we're 21 already, and then now we're probably, most people listening to this podcast probably like 25 through 35, around that range, and you're like, dang, like time going so fast.
Well, they say, so like when you're a kid and you're like in school, it seems like time goes so slow, right? But then as we get older, it goes fast again. But I was reading recently, when you get into like senior age, it goes back to like when you're a kid, where it just like slow, it just goes slow,
Mm-hmm.
It's going too fast right now. I feel like I just blink and it's a year. Like, how are we already, 6-7 months into the year? Like, did we just have New Year's?
Like, we literally just had New Year's. It's trippy though, because it seems like ever since July 5th, and if any of you know anything about anything, they had that that particle collider that pretty
Oh
much
my
that
God,
you
you read my mind. Get out of my brain. I was literally about to say that we're over here jumping timelines with that particle.
yeah. Look at they're already like throwing something into the mix right now because you're like blurry as all hell right now. I can't see you,
You know,
Cleo.
we're
You're like
talking about.
blurry.
I haven't done anything. I'm in the same spot. We just said the
Is
wrong
she
words.
blurry? People in the comments, is she blurry right now? She's blurry to me. It's all good though. I mean, we can still have our
I'm not
chat,
blurry to me, and you're not blurry to me, but maybe we'll come in better. The forces that
Yeah,
be don't want us talking.
because they know that we're about to get on some real stuff. What do you know about CERN and the whole July 5th happenings?
Well, okay, so I was actually having a conversation with a friend about this in general, and I actually didn't realize. I mean, I've known that they've been doing a lot of particle research and working in basically creating particles and creating the beginning of life. So we've known that they've been doing this, like the National Laboratory in New Mexico definitely does stuff with it. So definitely been aware of it, but I didn't realize about the fifth until I saw one of my friends recently, and she was like, well, did you hear that they actually ran the biggest test? And I was like, all right, tell me about it. So
Mhm.
obviously I find it very interesting. I think that I don't think people realize that the effect that we have on our environment, and I think that we get to a point where I think we play God too much, and there's consequences. Like, to every action there is a reaction, and I think with a lot of them playing with particle reaction theories, I think that it can definitely change a lot of the trajectory of where we're at, where we're going, where we have been. So
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't
The
know.
time
What do you think?
the timelines have shifted. I've been seeing a lot more Mandela effects since that day, actually. A lot more. Like Chick-fil-A, CHIC instead of CHICK. Like, I'm pretty sure it always had a K in it.
Did it see? I always kind of wondered that too, and then I'll spell it sometimes, and I'm like, is there a K or is there no C? Or like, yeah, what's funny? I haven't really noticed. I haven't been paying attention to too many Mandela effects, but it is definitely a thing. It's like there's like lists of things that you can like look up and verify if it's like shifted. I mean, I think it makes sense because there are multiple timelines. There's no way the way that I mean, we ultimately kind of made up time, but I think that's kind of what deja vu is too. Sometimes is it's kind of like a blur between timelines, basically.
It more than likely is. I've said that before as well. I truly believe it is. Or you're pretty much meeting with yourself in a parallel universe, and that's when you realize it at that moment that you have been there before or
Yeah.
just met up with yourself in a parallel universe, and both both versions of you have that realization like, whoa, why does it feel like
What is this?
yeah, it's like, why have I feel like I've seen this before or that I've been here before. You know,
I have. Yeah.
it's super trippy though, man, when you think about it. But yeah, as far as like the particle collider goes and everything they did on July 5th, they're saying that there's so many possibilities that could have happened. They could have opened black holes, wormholes, portals. They could have created dark matter in this world. They've been saying there's a lot of storms going on right now in all various places of the earth, like
Yeah.
unexplainable storms with unexplainable lightning, like almost like strobe light, like lightning, and it's very very trippy in ways.
Creating explosions. That was my fault.
That was
No,
the
no, that's true though. I mean, it is right now is definitely like naturally would be like our thunder season. Like tomorrow, is it tomorrow's full moon or the next full moon is considered the thunder moon. So this is definitely like a time that we would normally have a lot of storms. But I think that you're right. I think a lot of what we've done has definitely exacerbated stuff in the environment. I mean, look at what we do. We cloud seed. We literally create weather. So how would we not think there would be a long-term effect to that, just on an energetic level, on a cellular level? on an atomic level.
Dude, can you believe that some people really believe that weather is not created in any kind of way, that it's just all natural? I'm like, man, you must really not know a thing about what they got going on out there. Like, they have actual weather creation tools that they
Mm-hmm.
put in the ocean.
That they
Just
put in
in,
the clouds. That's what cloud seeding is. They literally just basically pop chemicals into the clouds so that it forces them to rain, basically, you know?
yeah, yep. And that's really happening. Like, this isn't some kind of conspiracy theory that two people on the internet are talking about right now. Like, you can
Yeah.
really look this up. And then during hurricane season, there's super unnatural burst of clouds that you could see on the satellite images, and it's like, damn, are
Yeah.
they making hurricanes as well?
That, you know, actually do you remember, I think like maybe like a year and a half ago, there was a really big hurricane that I think that they attributed to them playing with the weather patterns. I don't remember which one it is, because you know they all have different fun names. But I think one of the major hurricanes, there was a lot of evidence pointing to the fact that they're like, well, we didn't create that exact one, but the ripple effect of you creating weather in other parts of the world, again, cause and effect, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Don't get
most
it.
definitely. Man, speaking about cause and effect, what has caused Cleo to want to be one of the dopest foot models of all time?
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I don't know that I necessarily would have considered myself that, but I'll take it. I mean, I'm pretty dope. Okay, I'll go with it. I don't know. I love this industry. I love what I do. Um, I love working in, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, nobody wants to admit it, but it is, at this point, it is part of the sex work industry. Even though, you know, that it's definitely a fine line. I don't know that it necessarily should be, but obviously Instagram deems it as, because feet are very offensive to people for some reason. And I think that also pushes me to continue. Like, every time that I get deleted or like pushed up against, it just like just reaffirms for me that I'm doing the right thing. And I'm really firm in like, I believe that people should really live their life authentically and in alignment with the things that they're true to their true self is, and they enjoy. And that comes to like sexuality, which I think is very much on the spectrum. And I like that I get to kind of push not the fetish agenda, but the connection to your actual identity, and not there not being shame in the things that you like. I don't know. That was long. That was a long answer.
I forgot that I was on the podcast for a minute. I was like listening, like, spit that. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. No, I mean, hey, it's there for people, you know, who enjoy that kind of stuff. And I don't think it's necessarily an agenda being pushed. It's just people doing what they like and people enjoying what they like. But it does seem like it's becoming more and more of the culture these days. A lot of rap artists, I talk about this all the time, but a lot of rap artists are saying it in lyrics, and they're actually coming out and saying it now. Like, they got Kevin Gates talking about it pretty openly. You know, NBA young boy, he like openly takes pictures with his girlfriends, however many girlfriends that he has, their foot in his mouth, you know. And
Oh yeah. Well, and you even see it in what's Travis Barker and one of the Dashian ladies, Courtney.
right,
Like,
and then
it's becoming way more like, I mean, it's always been there. It's just becoming visible.
and you know, shout out to the Kardashians, man. You know, Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian, you know, they just put out a picture with her feet all up on his chest and him looking all, you know, smiley and what have
Yeah.
you. So I mean, you know, like,
You know, I feel two ways about this. There's part of me that is, I love the visibility. I like that, you know, quote unquote mainstream media is portraying it. But at the same time, sometimes it feels um kind of trite. Like, it just feels like, I don't know, like I did see the Pete and Kim thing, and sometimes it feels like, almost at this point, it can feel like a bandwagon versus people just being authentic. And I think that feels frustrating. Like, it's almost like cool now versus it just being how people are innately are. I don't know.
But like, even if it's a bandwagon thing, like the fact that people are opening their minds to it more and being cool with the idea of it, or
Yeah.
discovering that it is actually really cool and, you know, something that they enjoy themselves, that just kind of shows you that there has been a shift in the world. And, you know, who knows, maybe it has something to do with CERN. Like CERN hit a switch and now everybody's like, I like feet.
I like feet. I like feet. I'm about the feet. Let's do this.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and that
I
could be a
mean,
thing.
it makes sense though. I mean, it literally is one of the large there. I think that, you know, sexuality and fetishism is such a spectrum that, you know, anybody really, I think it's the most relatable and it's the most common. It's literally the most common out of all of them. And then that kind of like trickles down from there. But I mean, I think last time we talked about where, you know, like that comes from. And there's a lot of different theories, like, you know, the part in your brain being next to your pleasure center, where your feet, you know, are, and etc. So I think there's a lot of things that play into how people arrive at this particular fetish, you know?
Absolutely. I got a interesting poll that I did last night on my Daddy Goodz Instagram, and a page that, by the way, has nothing really to do with this podcast. I don't post much on there in terms of this podcast. But I asked a question that, you know, is in relation to this podcast and this whole world. I'll get to that after this commercial break.
Commercial.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? Man, shout out to Cleo Jane. We got her on the podcast right now with those size 10s.
Size 11.
Oh, snap. We got Cleo Jane with the size 11.
It's too big to fit it in the whole screen up close.
I know, but it's dope. Look at those lovely souls. Hey, man, if you like this podcast, smash the like button. And, of course, you must subscribe to this channel. If you love to love, hey, that's tight. If you love to love, subscribe to this channel, because this channel is about peace, love, and prosperity. Hey, check it out, man. Shout out to the people in the live chat right now. If you're here live, don't be shy. Say what's up. What's up, Yoda Mean? What's up, Chris? Shout out to the moderator, Chris. Shout out to Danielle Thomas, Francesco Honorado. Shout out to Main. What's up, Main? What up, Jeff Newport, William Lewis, YBs and LPs. Hey, YB. I like that name, YB. Where'd you go last night? Oh, I was at YB's house. What up, Yin? Did I already say what's up to Yin? What up, Yin? Oh, look, I'm in the comments too. What's up, Daddy Goodz? Oh, snap. Nelson, what's up? All right, let's come back. Shout out to Douglas and Jeff Newport for dropping those flames. All right.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all.
Yeah, man. So I posted a poll on my Instagram, right? And you know what? I'm going to read verbatim.
What?
A poll. Poll. O-L. And so my question was, and this is interesting because, you know, like I said, on my Daddy Goodz Instagram, if you want to follow me, you can. It's DADDYGOODZ. Anyways, I don't have a whole lot of people from the FFC on that page, right? I post a lot of like workout motivation stuff and, you know, just random stuff more so. But I was curious, you know, how many people are open to the idea of being amongst this world. And this was what I posted. I said, out of curiosity, and this question is not intended for my friends of the POF Pod, the people that know me from the POF Pod, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I want to know how many of you have ever considered getting into the foot model game, aside from however you may feel about the taboo subject of a foot fetish, for analytical purposes, right? And 78% of my following on there said that yes, they have considered. And you know, the rest, you know, the 22% said, no, it's weird, right? All right. So, you know, that's what we all know people to typically feel about this whole world of the FFC. We know that a lot of people will say, oh, no, it's weird. But what's what was interesting to me is that 76% of these people said that yes, they have considered. And I was scrolling through the people
Is
that
it men or is it like women who would want to be in it, or men who are interested in it, or both?
either or, just
Okay.
like people who are interested in the world in general or have ever considered it. And a lot of the people that said that have like they don't have anything to do with this world. They don't even know about it per se, but perhaps maybe they've thought about it before. But
Yeah.
I was looking through it and there's a lot of people that I was like, oh wow, like I would have never imagined that that person was into this. And I put on there that, you know, I would keep it private, you know, so
Yeah.
that not everybody would know. And it was just interesting, like wow, like a lot of people are into it more than we may know. It's just so taboo that they don't really talk about it like that. They, you
Yeah.
know, they know about it and they think that it's cool, but they just don't really talk about it like that. And I'm like, wow, like that is a huge gap right there. 76% to 22%.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's that like secret thing where people like can send like not where you can like it's like tell me something in secret. I think it makes sense. I think there's way more people out there that have proclivities and sexualities and like desires that aren't necessarily what we would have considered quote unquote normal previously, but with platforms like this and Instagram and whatnot, and like, you know, the poll you took prime, obviously people are wanting to engage in those things and they feel that way. I think just as like time, not time, but like as our thought process, our views and generations also change, I think things become more acceptable and
Mm-hmm.
more like you said, not necessarily mainstream, but just more okay to just be yourself. And I think we're seeing that a lot with the fetish industry in general. I mean, look at 50 Shades of Grey. Look at, like, you know what I mean? Things that were considered way more taboo are now becoming more at the forefront, you know? I think it's
Yep.
great though. I think it's
It is.
great. I think people need to be more connected to their sexuality and their sensuality.
I think so too. I mean, it's the most natural part of a human to express that side of themselves. I mean, all of the extremely unnatural things people deem appropriate or safe for the social world, but you know, it's like going out and working a 9 to 5 job, that's not really that natural, but you know it's normal and safe to talk about with other people, so it's like okay, that's natural. Or like everybody feels like the most natural part is like like the butt or the boobs or whatever, but it's
Yeah.
like just because everybody talks about that as a collective, like that's like what's normal to them. So they're like, okay, it's okay to talk about that. What's going on right now? Hold on, what in the world is happening here?
We having technical difficulties.
Oh,
Woo! Pew, 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 pew. I got the background music for you.
do you? Okay, all right, we're good. I was like, wait, what's going on here, man? It looked like there was some kind of technical thing going on for a second there. But anyways,
Technology is doing weird things anyways. It's all right.
no, it really has. I feel like there's something going on. Hey, give me a
It's
second.
that damn particle reactor. You
I
over
think
here playing with all the energies.
I think so. Here, give me a second, everybody. I'll be right back. Here's the intro again. All right, we should be. All right. I know. Don't you love that? Liven up the situation a little bit or whatever. I lost what we were talking about there, but I'm
You
sure it
know,
was.
My house does ADHD, so we're talking about electronics being a little wonky. I don't know, just
Yeah,
random,
random,
random things. Oh, I was
random.
gonna tell you something though, and it like it was something about. Oh, so you know what's also really interesting? So I think we just moved into. I don't know if you know much about like you know how there's the Age of Aquarius, that song like Dawning of Aquarius.
Mhm.
So we just moved from a 250-year cycle, which we were in the cycle of Pisces. And it's interesting because with all the political turmoil, we just hit the United States' first 250-year marker of us being the US. And that happened right as we came into the age of Aquarius.
Mhm.
And it's very fascinating because we're really at a precipice, a huge political precipice that I think a lot of people are feeling. And it is not about the right or the left. It is about humanitarianism. It's about bringing banking to coal. It's about oil. It's about big ag. It's about just the state of what's happening on all levels, and it's not agenda based. And I think we are due for, like if you look at historically, every country, all of the quote unquote established countries, first world countries, have had multiple revolutions, and America has yet to have one. And I think that we are on a precipice, and we are on a jump off point of a legit revolution, and it's necessary in order to move into the next era, the new age, the new generation. And
What
I think that's a lot of what people are feeling.
you think that some of it is it's just like everything combined together, like all the political turmoil going on, the whole Wade versus Roe issue, and just everything combined, like
It's all, yep.
everybody.
It's everything combined on an energetic level because, well, I mean, Roe versus the whole, yes, because a lot of it has to do with the powers that be. And the powers that be have been the 70-year-old white men who have been controlling the United States, whereas they actually aren't the majority anymore. So a lot of what we're seeing, this pushback, all of this stuff that's happening, is their grasp to continue to divide so that they can keep their power. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And I think that that's a big part of it. And a friend of mine, we were having an interesting conversation about the Roe versus Wade thing, and at the end of the day, the political agenda behind it is very fascinating because do you know who gets the statistically who has the most abortions? It is white women. But do you know whose actual numbers in society are dwindling? White people. And that
mm,
is part of the big push is that they don't want white women aborting their babies because it's not brown women that are having abortions at the same rate as white women. So I think like that's a big push for it. I think, what was that the other day, that woman that was at one of those Trumpite rallies and was like, we got to bring back the white, it was like a Freudian slip. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was like viral.
yeah, I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're talking about. It's like, wow, they're not hiding it at all. They're just blatant.
exactly.
Because a lot of times people would be like, man, like they didn't say that, or you're just talking, spreading FUD. And it's like, nah, like they actually said that. Like there's videos of this all around the internet. Like you could look this up if you want and figure it out. But I think that there is many different agendas, and I got some wild theories, and I'm almost kind of scared to like say it because I'm like, wow, I know these videos like have quite the potential to end up in all kinds of places. But
Yeah.
just think and ponder on this idea real quick, everybody. I know my theories get a little crazy and out there. And by the way, I'm totally, women should all the way have their rights. Like that's crazy that people are even thinking that shouldn't exist. Like that's
I think
crazy.
at the end of humans should have rights to their own bodies. That means
Absolutely.
that means abortions. That means vaccinate. That means anything. Like at the end of the day, if you don't own your body and the right to say what you do with it, then you own nothing. You own
Okay.
nothing. Nothing is relevant.
Okay, so check this out. So, I'm not telling anybody whether they should have or should not have got the jab, the jab, right? But so this is actual facts right here, people. That jab had a code within it, that once you put it, you know, in the body, and, you know, shout out to everybody that got that and wanted to protect their families and everything. But now I'm just stating the facts right now, that that jab altered, it has the possibility to alter DNA to the point where your DNA is now copywritten to said person, said company that now has your DNA altered. They can now take ownership and claim that DNA. So that alone right there is going to take away a lot of rights of people that they don't even realize it right there and right now.
Yeah, and
But
a lot of people don't realize how many that all of the companies that produced multiple vaccines have massive lawsuits. Most of them have never even brought a vaccination to the market. Typically, it takes 14 years to approve something, and they push this so fast. Like, there's a lot of questions. I'm not an anti-vaxxer by any means, but
hey,
I think that there's very much checks and balances, and a lot of stuff was unchecked and unbalanced, and a lot of it comes down to capitalism. A lot of it comes down to the fact that we have allowed our medical and our to become capitalistic and dollar signs for people. So of course, you know, you got to follow the common sense, but people are really, they don't want to believe things
all
because
right, so
it's scary.
check this out now. Okay, so take the idea of people already losing a lot of rights with that, with their DNA now being altered and, you know, claimed by said company that, you know, alter that DNA. Now take this idea right here, now that we're talking about the whole Wade versus Roe issue. So they're forcing women to, you know, basically give birth, like regardless of the fact that a lot of women have, you know, pregnancies that can, you know, like kill them, basically, like
Yeah.
so many things can happen, right? So aside from all of that madness, they're making women give birth, right? So a lot of people do have the jab, right? So perhaps they want to create a study and have enough babies to see what is going to happen with all these people who have the jab. They want to see what's going to happen with the next generation, the people, you know, give birth, or can they even, you know, have the same fertility rate with all of these people who have the jab, or what's going to happen? Like, is there going to be a higher rate of, you know, autism, or, you know, like, none of us know. There's no studies out there. This is something that just came out of nowhere. So it's like, man, like when you start thinking about that and you start kind of lining up everything, like I'm sure there's a whole book of agendas and written down, like said studies that they want to do. Like I'm sure it's not just one thing, not just one hidden agenda. It's probably, like I said, like pages, thousands of pages of stuff going on. But it's just interesting to think, like, how when you kind of line up all those things, and then you go, and now I'm thinking far out there on this one right here, but when you go and look into like the CDC and different websites, like they're actually telling people about like zombie apocalypse type stuff, and I'm like, damn, like what's going on? Like it's
we prepare to be zombies. See, again, this is what happens when I think we play God too much. We're asking for consequences, and the interesting thing too is that with the spread of everything, they've created a lot of the, I mean, obviously I am not a virologist. I just enjoy reading a lot and researching. But the thing is that people don't realize, with the push of so many vaccines and then vaccine inequality through other countries, where here in America, we're on vaccine 3, 4, booster 6. There's still countries that, if you were someone that's behind vaccines, there's still countries that haven't even gotten like first dose, second dose. So this is part of the reason that the virus is going to continue to evolve, because you have such inequality in how you fight things on every level. So it's like, plus it's a virus, so it's going to continue to mutate no matter what we do. You know, it's like, I don't know. I think that a lot of it, at the end of the day, everything feeds into a political agenda that is fed by the capitalistic machine that is America. You know, there's no other countries that run the way that our countries do. You know,
I
and
feel
it's
like
whether it's go ahead.
I was gonna say something like kind of like totally off topic, but on topic. I was gonna say I feel like most people who watch this podcast and love our conversation right now more than likely enjoy Rick and Morty.
Probably. Yeah, definitely. Every
You know,
episode.
you know how many people always tell me like, man, you would love Rick and Morty, like based off of everything that you like talking about, the theories and conspiracies and all that stuff. And I started watching it and I'm like, man, like I couldn't agree more.
Really,
Um,
they finally got on board. Well, it's crazy to me you were talking about like fertility rates. So they're all up in arms that our fertility like rates are going down in males and females, but you don't want to look at the fact that we have over 350,000 chemical compounds in America that we allow in our foods and our soils that other countries don't. You go to most European countries, you're not going to see red dye 40, dimethyl colvate. I don't know. I'm literally making stuff up, but like you're not going to see these things because the long-term neurological effects on the body are
did you
known
just
there,
say?
and they pay attention to this stuff.
Did you just say dimethyl Colgate? That's like
Colvate, I don't know. I just made some shit up. You know, I know dimethyl something 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 is it's all bad for you.
she just made up a new toothpaste, man. Hey, let's get into a
Well,
foot
some
commercial.
extra. We got extra fluoride for your pineal gland. Our dimethyl Colgate.
Let's get into a foot commercial. We'll be right back. Yeah, man. Shout out to the live viewers. Smash that like button, that likey. If you likey, then smash it. Hey, man. Shout out to Cleo. You know, coming back on the POF POD for the third time. Gotta appreciate. I know that for some reason the blur is a little blurry, but you know what, man? It ain't blurry on her IG and her special site. I'm sure. So, oh, there it is. Okay. So you know that's always a place that you can take a gander and other things.
That other thing.
Shout out to yo. I love that. You know we're able to have conversations like we are on this podcast, and you know shout out to the viewers who stick around and hang out and have fun. It's amazing. I need Red Bull to sponsor this podcast because I'm like trying to be on my third Red Bull right now for the day.
Oh my God! What is wrong with
What?
you?
What? What's wrong?
Daddy Goodz. Get it together.
It's not that bad.
Red Bull's terrible for you. At least drink some green tea. Get off that shit.
No, it's
you're drinking the dimethyl Colgate.
All right, let me see if dimethyl Colgate is in here. No, it's not. There's no dimethyl Colgate, but I will tell you the suspect ingredients that I see on here. All right, so let's see. There's carbonated water, citric acid, taurine.
Citric acid is actually not very good for you. It's usually derived from mold.
Fuck, man.
But it's in a lot of stuff because it's a preservative.
Let's break down these ingredients. All right, so natural and artificial flavors, sodium bicarbonate.
Okay, so that's just baking soda.
All right, magnesium carbonate.
It is it's a synthesized version of magnesium. Okay.
All right. Aspartame.
Oh, not good.
All right.
Aspartame is a fake sweetener that is highly. Are you drinking sugar free?
Yeah.
That's why. If you're gonna drink shit, don't drink sugar free because that's at least do real sugar because the aspartame is what is like linked to a lot of cancers.
Oh, great. All right. How about Ace Sulfame K?
I don't know. After UK.
Xanthan gum. Like what? What the fuck is that?
Oh, xanthan gum. I think is a part of a preservative, but I'm not 100% sure.
All right. So niacinamide pyridoxide. Damn.
Anything that has oxide or is that many letters is not good for you.
No, real talk though. Hold on. Calcium pen.
You know what? If you like energy drinks, try Celsius. Celsius is good.
I can't have like the ones that give you a whole bunch of calories though. Like
Gotta keep it low calorie.
I'm trying to, be like health conscious and not be having too many calories every day. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get
Calories are better than chemicals. Your body can process the calories, the chemicals not so much.
Man, like I feel like
Oh my God, you know what? Speaking of chemicals, so they just did a study where I forgot how many participants they did, but it was a good portion, and 80% of them had Roundup in their urine.
I know. That's wild. How does that even happen? How do we get
How does it
Roundup?
happen? Because the majority of our produce comes from GMO farms that they spray with massive pesticides, which are not legal in a lot of countries. Even countries that are considered like second or third world, there's pesticides and Roundup. Like I think Mexico just made Roundup illegal. It's an endocrine disruptor. It kills all of your gut bacteria, and it literally coats all the fruit and vegetables, and then the problem is it leaches into the soil. So then even if you're not spraying it on shit, it is literally in your soil.
Hey, so look, like people
I'm
eat
very passionate about
vegetables
this.
and they eat vegetables and they do what they feel is right and health conscious, right? Like eat the vegetables and try to switch their diet up. But it's like, dang, like there's no real way around it. All these chemicals, like people are telling me, like, man, don't drink the sugar-free Red Bull. I'm like, man, like everything that I eat and drink, like I can go and get some tea leaves and use that for the extra caffeine boost or whatever. But like, damn, it got sprayed with Roundup. Like,
You
so
better
I'm
get a
damn.
seminar. You better buy. That's why health and good food is a commodity of the rich a lot of time, because to be healthy and to purchase things and spend the extra money on things that aren't covered in chemicals, not everybody can afford that. Not everybody can go to freaking Whole Foods or natural foods market or grow their own stuff. Well, anybody can really grow their own stuff, but it's like you said, it's hard for people to know nutrition, but then also actually stay away from a lot of this stuff. But a lot of that comes down to our government not regulating what we allow in our foods. And this is also like part of the political stuff. It's like these are the things that we need to be pushing our politicians to fix, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. But it's not just the politicians though. Like, man, it needs to be like the people in general have to come together, and that's the only way, because there's so many people, there's so much more people than politicians and the people who are, quote unquote in power, that if there was some kind of revolution where people did get together, like there'd be no way to stop everybody. But to get everybody on that same page, fucking possible. Like there's no fucking way, because people are they're so brainwashed, like on a whole nother level. You can't even have a logical conversation with most people about politics, because they get all up in their emotions because whatever trigger point has happened. So you can't have a kind political conversation in a lot of sense. And like, even if you're not into politics, like that's a trigger for some people too. They're like, why not? That's a part of the problem. You're like, oh my gosh, like
I can't win with y'all.
You can't win with a lot of people in a lot of times. So, if you can't win arguing with people, if you can't win the stuff you eat and drink, and you can't win in none of those scenarios, it's like, damn, you might as well just do what you love and what you like. It's like, damn,
we're all just walking around underwater, underwater, traumatized, malnourished, trying to like figure out life. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, and it's unfortunate, but you're right. Like life is too short to not live how you want to live, as long as you're not like hurting people. But to go back to what you said about people being uncomfortable with conversations about politics, I think it's because you don't talk about those things. That's what it is. Like but that's definitely an older generation thing that's dying. That's that whole idea of like, we don't talk about anything. It's not just politics. We don't talk about feelings or trauma or like anything. We just don't talk about stuff. But that's becoming less prevalent. And so I think hopefully people will get better about having conversations about politics. I will tell you one thing that gave me a lot of hope in people. So I actually drove Uber for 3.5 years. And it was one of the most enlightening experiences, because the amount of people in that 3.5 years that are in and out of your car constantly, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what kind of conversations you're gonna have. You know people right, left, middle, gay, straight. It literally doesn't matter. But in that time frame that I drove Uber, I had so many really beautiful conversations with people. And I think the difference is being willing to show up for them, being willing to listen and not actually want to react right away, but also not having, I think people aren't willing to be proven wrong, or we don't give people the space to grow or change their mind. Like a lot of times you'll have an idea and then guess what? You're presented with new information. You're allowed to change your mind. But people feel really beholden to like, oh, this is my belief and this is what I thought, so this is what I have to keep thinking. And that comes from, I think, not willing to be wrong, or not willing to still grow, or realize that you don't know everything, you know? So I think when people can arrive at the fact that they don't know everything, maybe they'll be more willing to listen. But with driving all those people around, I met people of all political agendas. And at the end of the day, I think most people are mostly good. I think the news and a lot of our media really does a good job of wanting you to continue to feel crappy and divided because it feeds the agenda. But the actual one-on-one interactions that you have with people, that's not how they actually feel. It's just what's presented, you know?
Do you think it's kind of hard to pull people's actual feelings and emotions out of them?
Well, I mean, yes, to some degree, because I don't think people are used to being able to actually express themselves. I personally don't have a problem with it, because I think just as an empath and a healer, people tend to just like really are very like forward with me and very honest, and I know when people are not being transparent with me anyway, so I think it innately just brings that to the table. But I think when people don't feel like they're going to be, you're in judgment of them, they're much more likely to actually like have a conversation or want to maybe see your point of view about things. You know what I mean?
So you think being more judgmental in like during the interaction pulls out more of their
So not
opinions?
being judgmental, not being judgmental.
Not gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Coming to a person from a place of openness and not having expectations, I think allows that dialogue to unfold in an organic way that lets people like listen and feel heard. I think that's the biggest thing a lot of times when people get into arguments, whether it's politics or anything else, it's more about the fact that they aren't feeling heard. So if we actually got better at listening, I think that we'd be able to communicate a little bit better. But you can't really communicate if you can't actually listen and digest what people are saying, you know? But that's also
Right.
part of it too. I think we're all overstimulated when it comes to like, you know, inputs and stuff and concentration and so these are skills that we don't teach people anymore. People are not learning how to interact with people in humanistic ways, because especially the younger generation, because we're so much online, you know? So I think teaching people how to actually connect with people and, you know, having those, it's kind of like the difference between your federal government and your local government. Your federal government obviously clearly matters, but your local government that's where the bread and butter is. That's where you make your change. And that's the same thing when it comes to like your circle. It's us having these conversations. It's you being at a bar and instead of talking about the weather, actually talking about effective change or what's happening in the world, even though we were taught not to have those conversations. But we were taught not to have those conversations because it keeps the divide. So by showing up to those conversations, you are you're pushing farther, you're making that divide less, I think. Does that make sense?
It does. Hey, and speaking of generation, I'm about to trip everybody who doesn't know this out. Are you aware of what the new generation is called? Because you have your Generation Z, X, and all those generations, right? Do you know what the new one is called?
Gigabytes. I don't know, what are they?
The new generation is called Generation Alpha. What do you take from that?
Oh, I don't like that.
That's what they're calling the new generation. It's like,
that's interesting. I mean, I guess so. I always forget what where the gaps are. What are you considered? I think we're probably the same. What are we considered?
I want to say we're Generation Z. Are we Z or I don't know?
I always get them mixed up. I always forget if I'm X or a Z. I don't generation.
I'm gonna Google it right.
I guess it makes sense. Maybe they've arrived at the end of the alphabet and we're back at A. So that's how we've gotten to alpha. That's the only like logical thing, because it's like, all right, generation X, Z.
Let's see, Generation
Well, we've
Z.
already gone through the alphabet. We're back to A. That's where they got alpha from.
Okay.
They could have
All right.
picked a
So
better word, I think.
let's see. All right. So if you're born, all right. So we're millennials. I believe we're about the same age. I'm 34 right now.
Yeah, what do you
And
think? Yeah, I'm 33. I'm about to be 34 in like 20 days.
so we're millennials, and then after us, it was Generation Z. And then if you were born from 2011 through 2025, it's Generation Alpha. I'm like, how have I never heard of this term before? Generation
Yeah.
Alpha.
Like I said, I from just my process of deduction, I'm pretty sure that they make their way through the alphabet. And if we've gotten X and we've gotten Y's and we've gotten Z's, we're back to A. So they had to go
Wow.
somewhere. I don't know. I think the alpha thing is very interesting because there's a lot of folklore. There's a lot of history around what alpha, omega, when it comes down to Latin, alchemy, the Bible. So it is very interesting that they chose alpha.
What if they're saying that this is the generation that's gonna save humanity, and that's why they call them Alpha, because they're the Alpha generation?
Maybe. I mean, I hope so. If the next generations can't do better, listen, the Earth is going to survive without us. The Earth is going to do its thing. It's more a question of, are humans going to be able to be part of the Earth? You know what I mean? So hopefully the next generation is that generation, and I think they have the potential to be, so long as this continues to happen, and we continue to raise children that are not like the previous generations. You know. But
Would
I
you?
was, do you know what Gaia is? It's like a website, YouTube. Like, I feel like you have to know. If you don't know, you need to know.
I don't know what Gaia is. How do you spell it?
Okay, you should look it up. It is they have like YouTube. I mean, Gaia is like a word for like God, but it's a website, and they do all sorts of like educational stuff that's a little bit like it's really on par for a lot of stuff that we're talking about, whether it's like evolution, whether it's like aliens, whether it's they just have a lot of like spiritual stuff.
Hmm.
But I was watching this documentary about ancient Egypt and also modern society, and a lot of stuff points to the fact that we've actually reverted back in a lot of ways compared to older societies in a lot of the technologies that we have. Obviously, we don't have like internet and that sort of stuff. So I'm not talking about those technologies, but just in the way that society functions and the technological advancements. A lot of people think we've actually moved backwards, and we're continuing to de-evolve because of a lot of our actions, as far as like science and schooling and all of that we're actually going backwards. So I thought that was really interesting theory.
Did you see that news article about how there's a possibility now where you might have the chance to live for 150 more years if you download your consciousness into a AI robot?
I mean, I've seen it in, in movies and Doctor Who and stuff, but I didn't realize this was actually something that they're talking about. That's so
Yeah.
terrible. I just think of, there's this Doctor Who episode on who knows which one because there's like 5 billion, but there's this like alien who's basically like 700 years old, and he's basically just like a brain that floats in like a tube, like no body, no nothing. That just, I don't know. Like that seems very strange.
I hope that's not what we really are, like a brain floating in a tube and we're literally in the simulation. That would suck. Like if I woke up like, damn, I'm just a
I'm just a brain. I ain't got no legs. I don't got no feet.
damn, I really
Maybe feet don't even exist. You know?
oh shit. Oh,
Oh
oh,
shit.
or what if feet was the last part of figuring out if humans can make it. They were like, all right, we're going to put them in this human body, and until all of them feel like feet are attractive and this becomes pop culture, we will keep them in their human bodies and we will not wake them up into their brain lives.
This sounds like a FFC nightmare / like short film.
Yeah, it does. Hey, let's do a commercial, then we'll come back. I gotta go pee real bad, so I'll be back, everybody.
Okay. Commercial.
Don't be having a dartboard in the background, because I will hit bullseye every single time.
Oh, you play the darts? Because I'm pretty good. I've had a lot of pandemic time to practice my darts. I can only play one game though. Cricket. I only got one game.
Cricket?
Yeah. Oh, I have an outdoor dartboard too in my backyard. That's the one we use the most.
Croquet is super fun too, by the way.
Croquet. My mom has a croquet set. I don't have one here, but croquet always reminds me of Off with Their Heads. Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I think it's originally a game invented in the UK, so it's like a British game.
It's English, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because
like, I'd rather play croquet than golf. That's for sure. No offense, but man, golf is.
I have not got into golf yet, but you know, I totally want to get into golf. But yeah, no, croquet. I had a croquet set, but for some reason my mother sold it. I'm like, really? Like, for real? Like, you're supposed to hold.
Maybe you didn't use it. You haven't used it in a while.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Top Golf?
Yeah, I've been to Top Golf.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the kind of golf I like. That's about as golf as I get. But I'll go to Top Golf. Play some Angry Birds.
Mad fun. Yeah, Top Golf is mad fun. Like, trying to like smack home runs every single time. It's like.
or like, if you don't really golf, oh my god, the last time I went, I think there's a video. I think I swung at it probably like 6 times with no connection, just right over the ball. You know, that hand-eye coordination that like takes a minute.
Yeah, it does take a minute, and it's kind of embarrassing on the first couple. You're like, you know, walking up to it, and people are looking at them like what are they gonna do? Is it gonna be a good shot, or is it gonna be like a total miss? I want to say my first swing at the ball was a total miss, and you know, I look at everybody, and I'm like, shit. And then I finally hit it, and it like goes into the net directly in front of me, and I'm like, well, that was embarrassing.
Well, nobody, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's like when you try to go kick the soccer ball and you just fall over instead. I've been there. It's fine.
Yeah,
we can't all be athletic and awesome.
Yes, I know. I mean, hey, you know, we could try. I know we could try to be like Cleo. You know, it's the least we can do is try to be like Cleo. You know.
Oh, be like you and just don't be a shitty person. See, that's easy.
Yeah, it is easy to not be a shitty person. Actually, it's like, just be real. Just, you know, tell the truth. Don't tell lies. What else can you do to not be a shitty person?
Well, I'm not like innately religious, but I mean, the whole, like, if there's one thing, the golden, just treat people how you want to be treated. The only time that doesn't work, though, I think some people have a hard time deciding how they want to be treated, or they have low self-esteem, so they put up with some bullshit. So you can't always apply, like, treat people how you want to be treated, because sometimes people don't understand how to treat themselves, you know? So we do need a few, like, rules. I think, like you said, yeah, just be straightforward. Don't lie. Be accountable. Like, if you say you're going to do something, do it, or renegotiate. That's one of my big things is, like, I have no problem with people not doing what, if they tell me they're going to do something and not doing it. It's the not communicating, like, hey, this is what changed or whatever. That's where I think people falter, you know? It's like, just be transparent. It makes life so much easier and people less frustrated.
That's real as it gets right there. Be transparent, and you know, you don't have to put on any kind of facade. Just be honest with people. I think that's what everybody loves the most, is when you're honest with people. And being honest could come in many different forms, you know, like just being yourself when you're around people, not trying to act or be somebody that you're really truly not. I feel like those are the people that make it the furthest in life anyways, is when you are yourself. People can be like, oh, like, yeah, this person's a little crazy, but they're being real, they're being
But it's
honest,
real. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So
exactly.
I mean, that's all we can do at the end of the day. So
Just showing up to your life authentically, because like if you can't do that, then it's like that's kind of how I feel about, I said if you don't have your bodily autonomy, then you don't have anything. Just like if you don't, your word is your bond, and we have nothing in this life really that you were born with except for that ability. So if you can't even show up in that way, it's a lot harder to show up for your life in other ways. It starts with being able to keep your word and your accountability to yourself. And I don't think it's not like it's always easy. I think like, I don't know, being a human meat sack is a constant challenge of like showing up for yourself, showing up for others, and just trying to do better than you did before. But other than that, I don't know if there's any sort of freaking roadmap.
I'm gonna be honest. I love laying in bed all day. I would do that every day if I could.
Oh, passive income, baby.
Oh man, I would love to just lay in bed every single day, like just lay there and just eat eat delicious food.
You sound like you got a feeding fetish, huh? You trying to be a feeder?
I
Trying to be
know,
fed?
man. I love eating. I think it's because I've been on a diet for like 2 months, so like I keep on getting tortured by everybody around me. They're like eating delicious pizza or wings or whatever is just absolutely amazing. Like they're eating it all around me. I mean, I have cheat meals every now and then, but I still try to stay within the diet. Like I'll have a steak and mashed potatoes or something, like that's cool because typically I have like ground beef and like some kind of carbohydrate, like rice or a potato
Yeah.
or have you, but it's like very like bland and just like straightforward. And so I don't know, man. Like, I just drool over the most unhealthy foods right now. Like, I could totally go for some TB, some Taco Bell right now. I want a Mexican pizza, even though I know it's like the fakest Mexican food ever and like the most disgusting
What are you
thing to
talking
most people.
about? Taco Bell is rated the best Mexican food in America.
There's no way it's rated the top Mexican food in America. Please tell me you're lying.
I'm not lying.
That's
I'm not
ridiculous.
lying.
She said it, Taco Bell is the number one Mexican food in America. Like, that's
Number
absolutely
one Mexican food in America.
well.
Was that?
How
Remember when they had that little chihuahua? Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah, I miss that. I miss the good commercials. Commercials used to be really good. Like even Super Bowl commercials are not that good anymore.
I didn't even watch any of them this year. It's funny because as someone who is a commercial actress, it's very interesting on the receiving end, getting like scripts for things, and sometimes you're like, who wrote this? Like, what does this have to do with anything? But you're there to do a job, so it doesn't matter. You're just like, all right, well, cool. I'm just gonna read what you said and we'll see what happens.
Tell me about being a commercial actress. I didn't know that you did that.
Oh well, I mean that's what I do in real life. I'm an actress. I've been acting for about 14 years.
You
I don't
just
talk about. I mean, my Cleo
about
life is pretty separate from my like real life, for the
this is
most part. So
I can't believe we've never talked about this and we have like hours of podcast.
you might have even seen me, depending on what kind of shows you watch. You might have seen me just pop up a little bit. I do all sorts of acting, but I do film, TV, commercials, movies. I have a national campaign that I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want people trying to find me, but they'll probably see it eventually. That might pop up on some places. Done some national commercials. Yeah, that's
Ah,
kind of that's honestly how I arrived. Well, I arrived in the foot fetish scene two ways. Number one, I've worked in the fetish industry for a long time because I'm a professional dominatrix. But the foot thing specifically came about because I was replying to an ad looking for like actresses that were tall and had big feet. So I was already kind of in the fetish industry, and then the foot thing kind of toppled onto it from acting ultimately.
that's absolutely wild. Now I'm like super intrigued with that. I'm like, man, what the heck, Cleo? Like how do we go so many? I almost feel betrayed right now that I don't know this information. Like, how could you? How could you never tell me this?
I think as the longer I do this and the more I kind of mesh my worlds together a little bit to some degree, stuff becomes more clear. But like, I do a lot of things though. That's the thing. Let me tell you, people get very frustrated because I have My inbox has probably 600 emails in right now. And I do my best, but I work like 60, 80 hours a week. I have multiple jobs. I run 2 companies and I'm an actress. Like, so when people get frustrated, it's like, just like I don't know your story, you don't know mine. Like, I'm just doing my best over here, y'all, trying to get to y'all and get back to you and respond in timely manners. But there's just one of me, and there's thousands of you guys. That was a little tangent, but sorry.
Yeah, no, I know how it is though, man. You get a lot of messages, and sometimes it's like, man, like I want to get to that message, but like I literally I can't at the moment because I know what I want to say back in return is too much to type for what I'm doing at the moment, the current moment. Like you might be at the gym working out, and you know you see a long message that you're like, man, like that deserves a well thought out response. Like I'm not gonna be like, cool, thank you. You know what I mean? It's like now, like I want to actually respond to that, and then you know it could get moved down the line the more like messages and whatnot come in. So I think that you know what you're describing right now is like a perfect scenario and explanation for you know times that something like that does happen. It's super common, you know.
Yeah, we just gotta be patient and realizing, you know, we all have. There's stuff that people do. Like I don't even know what you do for a job. We just do the podcast. See,
A lot of people know. A lot of people don't know.
see, exactly, because it's like you're like one life. It's like you have they're like the same person, but you kind of have all these like different facets of your life, you know. So especially when you have kind of like a job that where people are kind of in your life and your business, you do keep some things for yourself. But for the most part, my life is pretty like transparent and open, you know. And all the important people in my life also know what I like. They know about Cleo. They know that I'm a dominatrix. They know, you know what I mean. So I don't I don't have to compartmentalize too much of my life. It's more that I don't want my fans to like find my whole life and just like blow up my like real Instagram or my, you know what I mean? That's really the biggest thing why I keep things separated. Not because I feel like I like can't be authentically both things. Cause like I said, my mom is probably one of my biggest fans.
It seems like you have the kind of personality where you move in a way that if something like doesn't happen for you because of your work in the FFC world, the BDSM world, and what have you, you just you look at it like, you know what, if it doesn't happen because of that, it's because it was never meant for me in the first place. It seems like you move in that kind of way.
Well, yeah, you know, and I didn't always arrive that way. I think, you know, the more that I've been doing this and the more that I'm like kind of the public eye and just getting comfortable with it, I have become more transparent about it because number one, it's easier for me not to have to compartmentalize, but also just being as authentically myself as possible. But there is definitely some things that come with it. You know, like I don't think, you know, my agents probably wouldn't love that I do this. Because when it comes to mainstream acting, sometimes it can have repercussions to the things that you do. But you're right. I've arrived at the point now, after a couple of years, that like it's like if you're not in alignment and not down for what I'm doing, then I don't need your energy. You know, but it wasn't always that way.
Yeah. I think Amber Heard low key dabbled in foot modeling at one point. Like she's got tons of pictures with her feet. I don't think she can hear me, but shout out to her dog. I think
Sorry,
Amber.
He was falling over.
I think Amber Heard foot modeled at one point. I could be totally wrong, so if I am, my bad, Amber. I know you're going through a lot right now, but like there's tons of like photos with her like in the pose with her feet showing, and I'm like, she might have dabbled at one point.
Yeah. Well, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. And I mean, I think, like you said, because it's becoming more mainstream, I think it'll become more accepted where people don't feel like they have to like hide what they do or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I feel you on.
I mean, I was trying to put my feet on Travis Barker, and then he got with the Kardashians. So now I'm bummed. I was like, I could have been there.
At what time out? Did you like? Are you being for real? Like you met Travis Barker or?
No. I was trying to meet him. So I have a cousin who's in the music industry and actually met him. And I was like, yo, when are you gonna let me come meet him? And then soon after that, he met Courtney, and my window went like, damn.
Oh
Damn,
man, do you have is that your celebrity crush or?
I have a lot of celebrity crushes, but yeah, I don't know. He's definitely was one of them. But now he all like wifed up, so that ship is sailed. It's gone. You know who
Yeah,
I
well,
don't have a crush on, but I would love to meet? Mr. Tarantino. Because come on, like how could you not want to put these in a movie? Come on, Tarantino. Like
come on,
that's your whole thing, bro.
I know. What's up, Tarantino? We got to
What's
somehow
up,
get this podcast.
Tarantino? Kill Bill 4, Kill Bill 3. I don't know how many. Is there 2 or 3? I think
And
there's 2.
I just want a little cameo in the movie. I'll play a background scene, no problem. All right, Mr. Tarantino, but her feet must be in the next movie.
I need to be in the next movie. I'm just saying, like, come on.
It
I can
definitely
do this.
has a lot of actors and movie producers. I feel like do like Adam Sandler movies. All right, so that's one of my favorite movie producers because I love how wholesome and just like cool his movies are. Like you could watch it with everybody around, with the kids around or whatever. But I do be
I've actually met Adam Sandler. I bartend, and he actually came into my restaurant,
that's
yeah,
super cool right there.
and he was
Wow.
really cool. He was genuinely just like super chill, nice dude.
Yeah, I would expect nothing else of Adam Sandler. He seems like a super chill dude, like real down to earth. But his movies though, like I swear, like there's always some kind of foot innuendo inside of his movies. Like no joke.
Really?
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever noticed that before. Hold on.
I never noticed it either until I started noticing.
You notice the beat once you start noticing. It's not.
I,
It's actually way more prevalent in a lot of movies and film and TV and advertisements. I just think people just didn't talk about it or like process it or pay attention to it.
yeah, no,
And now that it's becoming mainstream, you're starting to notice it a little bit more.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, this look what I do like all the time as well. So like now I always notice it. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I get it now.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Like
it's been.
I never was into feet before this, and now I look at people's feet all the time, and I never would have looked at feet before I started doing this years ago. But now I'm always like, or if I see a girl, I'm like, hey, I'll tell girls they have nice feet now. I don't even I'm not a foot person. I just can tell what a nice foot looks like after many a times staring at them and working with them and all that.
Yeah, no, same. Like I definitely notice it now too as well. But I try not to look per se because for the people that know that I do this, like I don't want them to like feel uncomfortable, like or feel like they want to hide their feet or something. They're like probably thinking
Are
like,
you staring at my feet?
yeah, like
You
no,
only
no,
like me for my feet.
or or like when I don't know, man. It's different. It's different. It's real different in a good way though. So, shout out to everybody that's in this community and having fun and all that good stuff.
Seriously. The community is what keeps things going, and especially like for me after being deleted repeatedly, I
You,
wouldn't be here if it
you,
wasn't for the community.
yeah, you might be the
I
champ at
wouldn't
getting to.
be able to keep coming back. So it's
You might
it's
be the
for it's
champ.
for you guys.
You have more Instagrams than anybody I know.
Which is crazy because there's so many models. I don't know what it. My last one, I do know why I got deleted. I actually got hacked, and they changed my password, so I was just like royally screwed on that one. But like, it's hard to tell like what really causes pages to be deleted. You can do a lot of research and kind of get some ideas, but they've also been on a spree for like a lot of the big like like no was it the cosmic souls like girls with like 30, 40, 60,000 followers being deleted. I get to delete like 15 and I'm like I can't imagine being on that level and having to continually rebuild, but they just come for everybody. And I think at this point, like I don't even have the energy to be upset about it. The first like 1, 2, 3 deletions, rough, because you spend so much time putting time and effort into cultivating a page. But
Yeah,
with each deletion, I just get less attached to it and like more determined to continue to rebuild. But I finally started like Twitter. I'm really like y'all go follow my Twitter, because that's really the best way that they're, for the most part, they're probably not gonna ever delete me. So I don't have to worry about it so much. But
Yeah.
Instagram is a hot mess.
But Twitter been censoring a lot of tweets lately too, though, man. I'm like, what? Like, you censored a tweet like with the thumbnail for the YouTube, you know? They've been doing a lot of that lately
They
too. I
really
don't know.
have. Like, most of my stuff has been like put a notice on it, and I'm like, but there's literally not even any like anything really in it. But at least they're not, deleting me. So that's still better. I guess I'll take like a NSFW warning over complete deletion.
I think that we should make like fun of all of this, you know. I like have some fun with how many times people get deleted. I know it's terrible, but you know, just to make light
You
of the
have
situation, I think we should get like some kind of like championship belt, like, you know, in boxing or in UFC.
How many
And
times? I think I would be pretty high up on there, because I mean, I know people definitely get deleted. I wonder, we should take a poll. You should start asking the models, like, have you been deleted? How many times have you been deleted? Because I would love to know. But I know, and it's weird because I feel like Instagram goes through like cycles where they just like will off a bunch of
just go
models at the same time.
Yeah, they just go absolutely ham. I know. But yeah, man, there's got to be an undisputed champ out there. You might be the undisputed Instagram deletion champ.
I don't want to be this champ anymore. Like, I don't. I'm like, bros, just stop. Well, like a few of my friends, like within the industry, we've all been really brainstorming on what having a platform for this community, or just like the fetish community that's kind of similar to Instagram, looks like, that we can have the same similar, layouts and uses without it being so filtered. And maybe that looks like it being, age verified. Maybe it looks like, I don't know. There's a lot of things that can happen, but I just know, like, this isn't working. We'll continue to, utilize the tools we have for as long as we need to, but I think that we can do better. So where are my programmers at? Where are my app builders? Like, what are we even doing? We could have our own foot app.
Let's fucking do it, man. I'm trying to be in on this endeavor too.
Right? Like, I mean, it's genuinely like, I continually put that out there, and I have a few people in the industry too, like, that we've been, really trying to figure out, okay, what does this look like? Like, who do we know that is also on board for this? And I think the biggest thing we run into is, like, obviously the transfer rate of actually getting people to move from one platform, not completely to other. I don't think it's not going to replace Instagram, but it becomes very like specified in, fetish or foot stuff. And I think getting people to move to that platform is the biggest thing. But I think how we do it is we get the girls like, like Mathematician and Cosmic and stuff that have these big followings, that, we have fans that are really loyal, is once they start pushing it, if we can make something viable, then getting people to the platform really isn't that big of a problem,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
as long as all the girls in the industry who have that pull and have the fans, because at the end of the day, the fans are loyal when it comes to, and that's the only reason pages continue to get rebuilt, is because if they weren't and didn't have their favorite models and have the content they want to see, we wouldn't be able to keep coming back, So I think,
Yeah.
the proof is in the pudding, and I think that plenty of people would be down. But you know what gets me about Instagram? Do you follow Unfug Feet, the John Jay and Rich show girl, Kyle something?
I have followed her.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to me what they pick and choose to delete, because I don't understand how this page has had such a long run with so many
Yeah.
followers. But I think it's because they have that clout. It's like being the celebrity who can put their tits on there, but then us little people are still getting deleted for feet. So it's like, I love that there's these mainstream pages, but it doesn't compute to me. So why am I getting deleted, but they still are able to have this massive page?
Yeah, no, I feel you. That doesn't make sense, and that's a great point to make right there. Actually, I believe that it has to do with clout in some kind of form or fashion. They know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. You know what I mean? And there's got to be some kind of pool there. So I think that's what it comes down to. It's like when you're not somebody who has a connection to somebody who maybe can work at Instagram, or maybe there's some kind of button that they can click behind the scenes that pretty much makes your page protected in a lot of ways. There's got to be some kind of feature like that, because I believe that I'm sure that it's very like algorithm that causes these deletions. Like there's something that's being picked up in these algorithms. But you know, like with a page like hers, Unfug Feet or what have you, she, you know, obviously with so many followers, and there's a few other pages that have these massive followings that do exactly what a lot of the models do on this podcast, and they have like 200, 300, 400K or whatever, you know, and they're safe and dandy, you know, like it's like, okay,
Yeah,
like
and I'm
some
like, so what's the difference between, that's what I've been trying to figure out, is like, what is the difference? The only thing I can think is the content, because sometimes, yeah, well, I don't put any nudity. Sometimes I put spicy stuff, like a babe, but it's crazy because you can post a bathing suit picture on Instagram and it just be considered a regular picture, but then when you put it on combined with feet, it's somehow more offensive or dirty or whatever. So that's what I don't get. Maybe if we all posted really demure photos, but I don't even know if that's true, because there's girls that don't even put their faces in it that get deleted, and it's literally just feet. So it leads me back to the same question with the unfugged feet, is like, there's people out here doing the same thing. So then the people that are getting deleted, where's the discrimination? Like, where's that line, and why is it happening? But it's not like you can call and talk to Mr. Instagram. They make it impossible for you to even have a conversation with anybody about it, which is crazy considering how big the platform is, you know?
Yeah, no, it is
That's
crazy.
why we gotta do better. We gotta make our own.
No, no, you're totally right though, and it is crazy. I just had something on the tip of my tongue, but I mean, those are all great points you make when it comes to these popular pages that have been around. There's even the Rebecca Berardi show. You know, that one has a pretty decent following too on Instagram. And
Is that some Becky or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah.
the badass
Right? And
Becky.
she's like been around for a long time.
Yeah, but it looks like she's, I guess, apparently not active no more, or something along those lines. Like she didn't renew her contract with some production company that was putting together this show, because she hasn't posted on her page in a long time. And I believe the YouTube channel that, you know, that she was doing her show on, they haven't posted on there in a while. But there is another one that does have some recent posts, but I don't know if it's like content that was recorded a while back and they're just keeping the channel alive. But even on the Instagram or the Twitter account, it doesn't look like she's posting anything about herself. Like it's posting like other chicks who do modeling and what have you.
Yeah, it's like changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's and none of it makes sense to me, and there's no there's no way to make sense of it until we can get, it's like, when can we talk to someone from Instagram? I think like then that's the biggest thing, is like getting answers from the actual people. But we're just like cogs, so they're never gonna, they're never gonna do that. We're just gonna have to keep playing the game, I guess, and until we have our own platform.
I think that the more it's spoken on, though, the more a possibility is going to become, though. So I think these kind of conversations at some point are going to land on somebody's desk, and you know, the right moves are going to be made. Because like I get it, like people have to play within the rules. That's fine, you know, like if people have to make their pages age restricted, or maybe make the content even more, you know, friendly, viewer friendly. I mean,
But then give us those rules and opportunities.
I'm sure everybody's down to play along the rules if it means that they get to keep their page and, you know, keep the following that they spent, you know, a long time building. Because it's
We
not,
just have these like, these not real,
right.
they're kind of like pretend rules that we're like guessing at, we're following. And if I would have told you with my last page, if it wasn't for my getting hacked, I probably would have been able to keep it, because I know, you figure out some of the rules, you can and can't post, but then sometimes they just come in without any warning. So it's not like you could even you even have like a rubric to measure whether you did anything wrong, because they don't tell you anything. I mean, obviously, there's certain things that are no-nos that will get deleted. You don't talk about meeting people in person. There's basic things, but when you, even if you don't do those things, you'll just get deleted. And it's like, well, if you just gave us a list of rules, like you said, like, here, follow this, instead of some, like, you
Yeah, I'm
know,
sure. I'm sure most people would be down to follow those rules too.
yeah,
Hey,
agreed,
hey,
agreed.
in
I
the
would have meant that I didn't have to have page 22.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna be on page 22 pretty soon.
Shut up! Don't say that.
I'm just playing.
I'm only on like 7 and 8.
We're gonna
I've
give
got to,
her the.
you got to create those backups. The
I'm about
backup
to
to the
make
backup to the backup to the backup.
a POF POD championship belt is coming soon.
I
hey,
think
hey,
so.
hold
Like,
on.
you know,
Hey,
stack them up. You know,
main
you do,
man
like I
said
said
that.
though. You definitely have to not be mad about it. You just have to, like, because if you get mad about it every time, and you know that it's going to continue to happen, it's just going to wear on you. So you just have to be like, all right, on to the
Yeah,
next. You know, like, that's
yep,
it.
and that's what it's gonna come down to. But it's all good. Hey, main said that he tried to get Becky on the podcast. Yeah, next time you talk to Becky, tell her, come on. There's a lot to talk about and unfold.
Yes, I would definitely. I would love. I have a friend that, like, mentored with her for a little while, so I would love to hear a little bit from the OG. You know who else you need to get on the pod? She might be real hard to get on, but Michaela Miles. She
Michaela,
is. Do you know who she is?
no, I don't know who
Oh my
Michaela
God.
Miles.
Okay, so this is like old FFC community. Michaela Miles is like OG doing foot stuff in the 90s before, like, it was even like a thing. And she is, like, I think she's a size 15.
What?
But she's like, yeah, if you Google her, she's like pretty well known in the foot community because she was doing this before that there was, like, this was like a thing, you know what I mean? She's older now, but obviously when she first started, I want to say maybe it was in the 90s when she first started doing it. And she's still around, but she does like less stuff. But yeah, you should Google her.
Oh,
She's
she
like
did a
my, like,
podcast.
when I think about like foot industry and like OGs, that's who I think about. But it's funny
She did
because people think about me and they're like, "Oh, you've been doing this a long time," and I'm like, "No, you don't understand. There are women who have been setting this bar for us before this was even remotely this mainstream." You know?
right. Yeah, I'm looking her up right now, and I don't know if she has an IG. Mama,
Sometimes she
Michaela
does, but she's been deleted so many times that sometimes she just forgoes it. I know she has like other pages and stuff.
Miles.
But
Those are
yeah, I think,
like the biggest feet I've ever seen.
yeah, she's got some pretty dang good big feet. That is for sure. Um, but she seems like she's good vibes on top of it, just from kind of what I have seen when I've been, following her online and like people who have actually met her in the industry and stuff. So yeah, that might be a goal, like a bit of a, might be hard for you to get her, but if you could, I she would drop so much knowledge, I think, on just this industry and like her experiences and whatnot. But yeah,
I'm definitely gonna try my best,
yeah.
man. That's what I do, man. I try to get the people that I feel like the people want to see. So I'm gonna have to holler at Michaela Miles. Definitely. Man, it looks like she's been doing her thing for a long time too, and she's got that size 13. Chris says, so that's what's up.
Is
That's like
13?
some.
Okay, I think I said 15, but yeah, she got big feet.
Yeah, no, she's definitely looking legendary. So most definitely gonna have to try my best to get goated out here. If that's what it takes to get goated, we're gonna try. We're gonna try to get on Cleo's level with the goat status.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so weird. Thank you. I don't feel like it, like I'm the goat, but it's also interesting because I guess to some degree when I talk to other people in the industry and just, I guess just because I've been doing it for so long, I guess I naturally fall under that title. But it's weird, like when I'll work with someone or they're like, "Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm meeting a celebrity," and I'm like, "I'm just a regular person. I don't feel like I'm like anybody like
but that's
special." Like,
that's what's up, bro. Like that's the the allure of it, you know, like the part of it that people like is, you know, meeting somebody that, you know, that they adore from afar, and then you get to meet them in real life. It is that kind of feeling, and it's a dope feeling too. And to be somebody who is accessible in that kind of way is really dope. Actually, it's a connection that people
Yeah.
get to have with you. And when you're very personable, like the way you are, you know, it's even an even better feeling. So, you know, shout out to you
My
for
favorite
that.
thing is a lot of my fans, like if you see my content or if you've watched any of my like videos, especially Giantess stuff, I'm definitely like a mean Giantess. Like I'm very like but that's just my like, you know, my personality seems to be like very cross and angry. So it's always funny to me when people meet me in person and they're like, wow, you're really nice. You're funny. You're like, and I'm like, I just have resting bitch face. Like, and sometimes it's, you know, you ask for a specific type of content or video, you're gonna get that, you know, and that's just what it is. But people are always very surprised when they find out that I'm actually nice. Who
A very
knew?
person. Yeah, you know, oh, it's just all a part of the persona, right? The giantess Cleo persona. I feel
Exactly. If you met me in my dungeon, you would probably be very scared of me. Like, you know, there's different levels to this.
like 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 on like how mean exactly are you? Like you yoke them, like you're like, hey, sit down, like type of stuff, or
I mean, it depends on the client, but yeah, definitely. I mean, my background is in dominatrix. I do like, I love corporal punishment. I'm good with the mean. But it's also because I'm an actress. It's not that I'm innately like mean, but that's part of kind of that industry is really like getting into your client's head and figuring out what's gonna break them down. But as far as corporal punishment goes, oh yeah, I love it. I'm like, I will break out the whips. I like riding crops. Those are my favorite. Cat of nine
so
tails. Like I'll beat your ass if you want me to. You know.
so you
That's fine.
inflict real pain on these clients.
Yeah. If they book a dom session, but that's very different than foot fetish. Foot fetish is like they're usually pretty cute and fluffy. Sometimes, you know, there's like the trampling aspect or whatever where it can be a little bit harder. But yeah, like yeah. And when it comes to dom sessions, I do all sorts of stuff. One of my favorite things, though, it's called sissification, and I basically get to dress my slaves up like girls and treat them
Nice.
like little slaves. It's fun. It's kind of like Giantess, just with real people, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's a different aspect of people, and it's really interesting to get into people's heads and kind of find out what makes them tick. Which I think when you are like pretty heavy into the like BDSM play side of it, there's a lot of psychological that comes with it. So you learn so much about humans and human connection. Um, and you're always testing people's boundaries, which also pushes you to test your own boundaries. And I think
Right.
that's what fascinates me the most about it.
Well, thank God for
Yeah.
people like Cleo.
Let me test your
Man.
boundaries.
Well, Cleo, it has been a pleasure to have you back on the podcast. Thank you so
Yes.
much for being on for the third time, but not the last.
Thank you for having me. And I get to be number 80. Eight's been my lucky number lately, so I'm loving it.
Ain't it something, man? Ain't it something? That's what I'm talking about right there. Oh, maybe for episode 88, we might have to just do it again. Episode 88, keep the eights going, and then eight, and then
Synchronicity. That's what I've been seeing is the 88s. The 88s, and I'm an 88 baby.
oh my
Yes.
gosh, we'll have to get you on episode
You need to have
800.
like you should have like a four, like how we did the four girls, but we should do like, you got to do like a game episode or like something where we have, it's like what's that Foursquare? Was that old video or not video game, like game show where it's like the host and there's like four squares.
If you get your friends together and y'all come to Vegas, we will have a game show episode. We will
I
do
like
that.
that. Okay,
Let's do.
let's make we'll plan a little Vegas trip with the girls. So
Yeah,
I keep building up my foot fetish family, so we're building up
yeah.
a whole repertoire of ladies.
We'll make it happen. We'll figure out a way to make the game show work, and we'll get some ideas rolling, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah, instead of Foursquare, it'll be Foot Square. Perfect.
Man, I love it. Well, Cleo, is there anything that?
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you to the followers. Thank you for everybody for listening. I appreciate you. Go follow Plenty of Feet Pod. Go follow my Instagram, my Twitter.
All of those places. Follow her Twitter first, though, because like that's the one that is more than likely not going to earn her the undisputed deletion champ belt. So follow her Twitter first, and then IG.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Shout out to you, Cleo. Right, well, thank you so much. Let's foot marshal our way on out of here. How about that?
Let's foot marshal our way on out of here.
Come on, camera, don't fail us now. I have faith that the camera's gonna clear up here. Size 11 in the building. Did I get it right this time? I think I got it right this time. Yeah. Shout out to all the viewers coming during the live. Appreciate everybody showing love, especially the people who have smashed the like button. Because like I said, smashing that like button is extremely helpful for your favorite podcasts. Right on, everybody, dropping those flames in the comments. I see you. Shout out to Jeff, Jamichael, and Chris, and the Spurs for life. Shout out to all the flame droppers right now. That's the legendary Cleo pose right there. That pose right there. Right?
If I can fit my head between my feet, it's perfect.
To me, that's the legendary Cleo pose. Daddy Goodz fave right there. I approve this message. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see y'all. Oh, I got a special vlog dropping tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So y'all tune in to a typical night with the Goodses. Other than that, the Goodses. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see y'all next one.